There you are. Scare the shit out of me. Hey, how you doing? Wrong side of the building. Okay. Okay. So I'm kind of confused about, I guess now that, I don't know. I guess it's like the conservatives are like no 6 foot or whatever, and they want to open mom and pop. And then some of the liberals or Democratic now at this point are still using safety measures, but then again, they're gathering in protests, so it's kind of like they have a different attitude now, and a lot of people are saying leave at the door. Now it seems they're saying hand to me. So it's kind of like a different state of mind now that they're wanting to gather in masses for protests. So it's like things have changed on behavior of how things are dropped off. So it's like I don't know how long this will go on for. Probably, I mean, all 4 officers were tried, so we don't know the level of murder. The first one's going to get 3rd degree or 2nd degree murder. That would probably have to be worked out in court. We know the other 3 that were standing by are now involved in murder, meaning they are tried with murder. So all 4, that would be a total of 6 police officers that have gone, at least that have been charged with murder. Probably can think of more than that. Worldwide, I don't know. But in this particular case, all 6 officers were tried were actually white. I've been doing research and finding out the ethnicity of all 4 officers. If they were all particular white, I don't know. I'm thinking when I'm looking, there was one that looked Asian or something like that. But this is actually more of the fact that the people were officers and the man that was involved with black. The one thing that gets me on the level of protest, which I guess now it's nationwide, when Rodney King went down, it was just a beating. So Rodney King survived the beating, and that LA riots were caused because of the fact that the officers were acquitted. That was the whole purpose of the LA riots, was the fact that the officers were acquitted and they didn't even get any type of charge for assault or battery or anything like that. And if they go back in time, just like the Vietnam War, they probably would go back and say, okay, yeah, those guys probably should have got assault charges with Rodney King. Now, this particular case, we're dealing with murder. So we're looking at protests that are going across the nation and responding to that. And we don't know how long that's going to go. Now, we want to be real aware of changing tactics. We want to change certain tactics and be hyper aware. And what we probably would want to do from this point on for everybody's safety is work on de-escalation. Like, what is a purpose of using force in, let's say, okay, I would just say this, any kind of traffic accident, regardless of behavior, it's just not worth taking someone's life. Listen, I know, like I said, I think there needs to be a whole, I've said this before and before and before, over and over, there needs to be a whole reevaluation on the type of person that needs to be kind of like an officer. And also, what is, especially, here's some things I was thinking, like maybe there can be a black supervisor officer that can show up on an ethnic call. Okay, That's a possibility. So you have a female officer that's going to have to show up on a female call for pat downs and things like that. So, just look at it this way: you have specialized officers that are supervised in humanity, right? So maybe those type of officers would oversee more types of stops, right? That's going to cost the government money, but we're talking about 6 police officers that have all already been tried in 1 year or within 365 days with murder. Okay, so having supervised or request for supervision, some kind of app or some kind of thing where you can request for supervision, and these officers are basically trained to be real peace officers. Okay, my theory on a peace officer was they wouldn't need to carry a gun. They would carry a camera. Okay, so if there was some type of stop and there's an issue, wait. There's nothing wrong with patience. Okay, and the person being stopped may not feel comfortable. There's been a lot of cases, I would say even more than 100 cases, where there has been either like a black female or a black person that has called for supervision or has called 911 and then still been thrown down. And I've seen with my own eyes, I've seen a black woman on her belly, and I don't know exactly what she was going to do. A thought of mine was, well, maybe I should turn the camera as a cop watch thing, and since I'm only trying to be more of, artistic expression, telling a story, a fictional story, and things like that, do I want to go into a reality-based kind of thing? And the idea is no, but I think now is our time to kind of get our cameras ready. Because when our cameras are ready, because we're talking about humanity, okay? Regardless of race and nationality, it is important. We should be respectful to our nation. We should also be respectful to our races within the nation. I mean, multiculturalism is going on in the schools. It should be going on in society, because schools is a microcosm for society. That's the thing. And also there's a lot of cases that I'm finding out that officers are not even always turning on their body cam, or in some cases the body cam is not on, which is the case with Hoyt Claw, in which it was not, wasn't white per se. And first of all, I'm not particularly white. I don't look ethnic, but I carry Apache blood in me. People don't realize this. You can tell on my cheekbones. Apache, and the fact that the Apaches were here, and Apache actually means enemy in Native American tongue, or actually not a Native American tongue, I'm sorry. It's a slang word that's a French slang word for enemy, Apache. And it was given that way as cruelty to that part of the tribe, or I don't really know. I'd have to go and look on Apache where it actually comes from, but I think they're part of another tribe, and they were a warrior tribe that were treated pretty crappy, and some were known to even have blue eyes, crazy horse and things like that. And people, think, oh, that person looks completely white. Well, there are some white people that actually, they're actually black. They just don't look completely black. But they do have maybe black in them, not everyone's done DNA test to find out if they're octoroon and things like that. But the idea behind this post is the fact that it is actually a fact that there is 6 cops that have been arrested, and all of them have dealt with the multicultural issue of white killing black in that direction. Okay. So when one of my friends says, well, we're lucky that they're only destroying property, well, now is the time to change laws. Now is the time. We need to be talking about changing laws and procedure. These are specific things. Remember, it's little things that make a big difference. And this is going to be departments across the nation, police departments, practicing what's called de-escalation. What is the importance of killing someone over a traffic stop? Okay, it still has not been established exactly what the crime that George Floyd committed that deserved capital punishment. And obviously, most 100% of the country would say that that's not the case. There's nothing that a traffic stop that could lead to capital punishment. I'm sorry. I don't care what it is. It's like, exactly what, you know? Capital punishment usually in most cases is dealing with murder. It's not the other way around. It's not like, oh, you didn't turn your blinker. Fire the missile towards this direction. You know, it's like, he was driving a Mercedes. The guy gets pulled. I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, I almost think it's about as ridiculous as the Amber Geiger case. The guy was eating ice cream. I mean, I'm surprised there weren't rioting over that. Although there was some heated courtroom stuff that happened, and it was a female that was scared, and she thought, she just flipped out. Okay, that's a different one. Aaron Dean, of course, shooting through the window. We have the right to arm ourselves, that kind of thing. But basically it's this, it's basically this. There's nothing that man did that deserved to be choked to death at that particular moment. The sad situation is he cried out for his mother, which many people do when they're dying. Sad. I mean, it's just, it's completely, I mean, it's just sad. I can't even watch it, And I have to, as an actor and knowing theater arts and stuff, I have to also kind of think to myself, what in the world is going on with that particular officer, Because forgiveness is something at hand too. But what in the world, compassion-wise, and also you're also talking about 3 other officers involved, what's going on with them? Hey, buddy, let him breathe. Hey, man, I'm your fellow police officer. I'm worried about you. This guy, what'd he do? And also another thing that was weird, if you really analyze that video, some weird things are going on in that video. For one thing, they take him out of the Mercedes, because he had a Mercedes. They sit him down, okay? And then there's something that was going on in the back seat of the police car, and then he's removed from the back seat of the police car. So he goes into the police car, and then he's removed. We already had him in the safety of the police car. And another thing, too, is why was he taken, if you look at the video, why was he taken from one part of where they set him down at the wall, right? They set him down on a wall, and he was sitting there. Then they moved him and then a police car. Look, you see the video, he's sitting down at a wall. They move him past another police car. They just thrown him in the back of the police car and taken him wherever he was going. Of course, then when he's witness with other cops, there's probably going to be official cops that aren't going to freaking choke him when he's in jail. They did it right there in the street. Okay, so obviously there was something weird going on. So we need to kind of like look around at what's going on. And I think de-escalation, everything needs to be reorganized with procedure. And de-escalation, you could even have people riding along now with officers that are kind of like quality control, especially new officers. And also there needs to be more psychoanalysis of officers where, do you want to carry a gun? Do you, excuse me, but let me ask you a question. Do you want to kill somebody? Because if you do, you should not be a police officer. Remember, you should aggressively be for peace. You should be a peace activist, right? A police officer should, remember, there's something called to protect. You can only protect with peace. You can only serve with peace. You can't serve to murder. You can't protect someone by murdering them. So obviously, the citizen, doesn't deserve immediate death for something petty. That's probably maybe a misdemeanor at the most or whatever. There's too many cases. So de-escalation is the main thing. They should be aggressively after peace first, not aggressively after killing. It should be aggressively after peace. And they shouldn't look at it as a war situation. It should be looked at as a peace situation. Now, we got another guy that's been already killed during a protest at a pawn shop or something. So another murder has come out, and that hasn't been investigated. Supposedly, is what I heard. I don't know the situation of it, but I heard that someone lost their life in all this protest stuff. So now you got all this destruction of property. So they have to be hypersensitive, hyper-aware. Officers have to be hyper-aware and hypersensitive, and always after, well, they need to ask the question, what is the validity of a chokehold? What is the reasoning of a chokehold? Where does that come from? Okay, why would I use that? Why would I remove someone from a vehicle? See, I'm seeing too many officers going towards anger rather than just going towards peace. Going towards anger rather than peace. And a stop. Did they really pull the guy out because of peace? Did they pull him out of his car to protect him? Or did they pull him out of his car to serve him? You know, there's a lot of people getting ripped out of their car. Like I said, I saw that one lady. She was laying down on the ground, and what did she lose her temper? Well, then do they have the right to lose their temper in return? That's the training that needs to be going at police academy. 90% of the training is how to use the gun, and 10% is dealing with social economic issues. Well, people get upset, you know. I mean, a mall cop usually doesn't get in a tussle, because a mall cop is like, please stop, please stop. So the guy got away and stole $50 worth of clothing or something because it's the mall. You know, they can't shoot him down for... The thing is an officer does not need to have the mentality that I'm going to kill you if you don't listen to me. That's the problem, right? They can't have a mentality where I am an authority figure representing the law, which the law is evil anyway. If you go look at the Bible, all the legality stuff is all run by the enemy anyway. Because that's why Jesus was sent on the cross, was out of legality reasons. So I think the protesters are out there. I mean, I think they're going to be more effective being peaceful protesters. But now they're certainly been heard. So, I mean, if things start to turn more for peace, they're going to have probably more of an effect. Because if they want the officers to be peaceful, they're going to have to show them peace, you know, eventually. And there's some sad situations that are going on. Because, you know, everybody's family is important. So I would say de-escalate situations. When an officer is throwing someone down, first of all, ask this question. The person they threw down, did that person have a weapon? Okay. That's the first thing. If they're throwing them down because the person has a mouth and is angry, that's the wrong reason to throw them down. That's a time to wait and de-escalate. And then, if that's the case, they can take time, like count to 10, go back to their police car, and call in a specialist that can kind of like talk to the guy. Like, look, I know you're upset. I know you want to yell, and that's fine. Let's do some therapy. What about they let George Floyd just sit there and yell and do all this stuff that, you know, the protesters are doing for a minute, and then there wouldn't be, you know, thousands of buildings on fire, right? So he got mad. So someone got mad. So people get mad. You know, that's the thing about it. You know, it's called venting. But it doesn't deserve murder. So, you know, let's hope that we can go at least a whole year without an instance where a white person or a white, you know, officer freaking does not kill someone of ethnicity, and we have some multiculturalism, because it's all about celebration and multiculturalism. Let's celebrate the fact that the person is different, whatever it is that why they're different. Let's celebrate that and not kill. So let's try not to have a time to kill all the time. Let's try to have a time for peace, you know. Oh, boy.